In this episode, we're going to move from technology to people because even the best technical controls fail when roles and responsibilities are unclear. Security is not a single job title or a single department. It is a coordinated effort across leadership, operations, development, compliance, and end users. Beginners sometimes imagine that if an organization has a security team, then security is handled. In reality, security posture improves only when responsibilities are defined, understood, and reinforced across the organization. Shared accountability means that while specific roles have specialized duties, everyone has some responsibility in protecting systems and data. Our goal is to understand how security roles typically align, how misalignment creates gaps, and how coordination strengthens both prevention and response. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is a companion to our course companion books. The first book is about the exam and provides detailed information on how to pass it best. The second book is a Kindle-only ebook that contains 1,000 flashcards that can be used on your mobile device or Kindle. Check them both out at cyber.author.me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. Start with leadership roles, because tone and priorities begin at the top. Senior executives and business leaders set risk tolerance and allocate resources. They decide how much investment goes into security controls, staffing, and training. If leadership treats security as a cost with no strategic value, controls may be underfunded and undersupported. If leadership understands that security protects revenue, reputation, and trust, they are more likely to integrate it into business planning. Leadership is also responsible for defining acceptable risk and approving major decisions during incidents. For beginners, the key insight is that security posture reflects leadership priorities. Technical teams can recommend controls, but leadership determines which risks are accepted and which are mitigated. Next, consider dedicated security roles. These may include security analysts, engineers, architects, and incident responders. Their responsibilities often include monitoring, detection, risk assessment, policy development, and response coordination. However, even within the security function, specialization matters. Some focus on defensive technologies like SIM, EDR, and NDR. Others focus on governance and compliance. Others focus on application security or cloud security. Clear role definitions prevent duplication and confusion. For example, if no one is explicitly responsible for reviewing cloud access policies, that task may fall through the cracks. Beginners should understand that specialization does not remove shared accountability. It clarifies who leads specific tasks while still requiring collaboration across teams. Information technology teams also play a central role. They manage systems, networks, endpoints, and infrastructure. Many preventive controls, such as patching, configuration management, and access provisioning, are executed by IT rather than by a separate security team. If IT and security operate in isolation, friction can arise. Security may design policies that are difficult to implement, and IT may deploy systems without fully considering security implications. Coordination means aligning goals so that operational efficiency and risk reduction support each other. For example, when IT deploys a new system, security input on access controls and logging should be integrated early, not added as an afterthought. Beginners should recognize that effective posture requires partnership between those who build and run systems and those who protect them. Developers and application teams are another critical role group. In modern organizations, applications are often developed internally or heavily customized. Developers make choices about input validation, authentication, session handling, and data storage. If secure coding practices are not part of the development lifecycle, vulnerabilities may be introduced before deployment. Security awareness for developers includes understanding common web risks, proper use of libraries, and secure configuration of cloud services. Coordination here means integrating security testing, code review, and threat modeling into development workflows. Instead of security being a gate at the end, it becomes a built-in consideration throughout. For beginners, the key lesson is that security posture is strongest when security is embedded in processes, not bolted on later. Compliance, legal, and risk management teams also shape security posture. They interpret regulatory requirements, contractual obligations, and internal policies. They help determine what data must be protected and what reporting is required in the event of an incident. If these teams are disconnected from technical realities, policies may be unrealistic or misaligned with operational capability. If technical teams ignore compliance guidance, regulatory exposure can increase. Shared accountability means aligning legal obligations with practical controls. For example, if regulations require protecting personal data, then identity, encryption, and monitoring controls must reflect that requirement. Beginners should understand that security posture is not just about stopping attackers. It is also about meeting external expectations and protecting stakeholder trust. End users are often overlooked in discussions of roles, but they are a critical layer of defense. Users make daily decisions about passwords, sharing, and handling sensitive information. They are also primary targets for phishing and social engineering. Security awareness programs help users recognize suspicious emails, verify unusual requests, and report anomalies. However, awareness is not just training. It is also creating an environment where reporting is encouraged and not punished. If users fear blame, they may hide mistakes, delaying detection. Shared accountability means recognizing that users are partners, not weak links to be criticized. When users understand their role and feel supported, they become an early warning system rather than a vulnerability. Incident response coordination highlights why role clarity matters. When a security alert indicates a possible breach, multiple teams must act quickly. Security analysts investigate and contain threats. IT may isolate systems or apply patches. Legal may assess reporting obligations. Leadership may communicate with stakeholders. Without predefined roles and communication paths, confusion slows response. Clear escalation paths and documented responsibilities reduce chaos. This is why many organizations conduct tabletop exercises to practice coordination. Beginners should see incident response as a team sport. Technical detection is only one piece. Effective coordination determines how quickly damage is limited and how well recovery proceeds. Communication channels are another essential component of coordinated security. Regular meetings between security, IT, development, and leadership foster alignment. Shared dashboards and reporting ensure that risk visibility is not siloed. When teams share metrics and insights, they can prioritize improvements collectively. For example, if monitoring reveals repeated access misconfigurations, both security and IT can collaborate on better guardrails. If developers see common vulnerability trends, they can adjust coding practices proactively. Coordination transforms isolated data into organizational learning. Beginners should understand that posture strengthens when information flows freely and responsibly across teams. Accountability mechanisms reinforce coordination. Policies define expectations, but enforcement ensures they are followed. Access reviews, audit checks, and performance metrics help ensure responsibilities are executed. For instance, periodic reviews of privileged accounts ensure that access remains appropriate. Metrics on patch timelines ensure vulnerabilities are addressed promptly. Accountability is not about blame. It is about verification and improvement. When responsibilities are measurable, teams can track progress and identify areas needing support. Beginners should connect this to earlier lessons about monitoring and feedback loops. Just as detection systems require tuning, organizational roles require evaluation and adjustment. Another important concept is separation of duties. In high-risk environments, no single individual should control every step of a critical process. For example, the person who approves access should not be the same person who audits access logs. Separation reduces the risk of insider abuse and error. It also reinforces checks and balances. This concept applies in cloud environments, financial systems, and administrative controls. Beginners should see separation of duties as a structural guardrail. It acknowledges that trust is important, but verification is essential. Finally, culture plays a defining role in security posture. Culture is the shared belief about how important security is and how it should be handled. If shortcuts are rewarded and compliance is seen as optional, posture weakens. If proactive reporting and thoughtful risk management are valued, posture strengthens. Culture is shaped by leadership, reinforced by policy, and expressed in daily behavior. It determines whether security roles operate in isolation or in collaboration. For beginners, Understanding culture helps explain why two organizations with similar tools may have very different security outcomes. By the end of this lesson, you should recognize that strong security posture depends on coordinated roles and shared accountability across leadership, security teams, IT, developers, compliance, and users. Each group has distinct responsibilities, but none operates alone. Clear definitions, open communication, separation of duties, and measurable accountability strengthen prevention and response. The decision rule to remember is this: whenever evaluating organizational security, ask whether responsibilities are clearly defined, communication paths are established, and accountability mechanisms ensure that each role fulfills its part in protecting systems and data.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.